If my glasses look a bit wonky during this video, it's because I literally just broke them about 5 minutes ago, completely snapped them, and I'm just trying to balance them on my head, so they might fall off during this video, but I can't not wear them, so I'm gonna have to go and buy some more tomorrow or like after I film this. But I'm just balancing them. I'm gonna sit really still and hope they don't fall off. But today I thought I'd share my thoughts on unpopular pet or animal care opinions, because I have a lot of opinions and I'm not afraid to share them. Starting off with a good one, and it's the minimum cage size for rats is too small, or people have too many rats in the minimum. I kind of agree with this one. This is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion, but obviously I do share the minimum cage size when it comes to rats. As standard in the UK, I do put that in my videos, but I do think it is a little bit small. I do find it odd that the cage floor space minimum for rats is the same as a group of mice or a hamster that are quite a lot smaller. So obviously you've got the height, but floor space is the most important thing for most rodents because they are fossorial. So I do find it odd the minimums are the same, and I don't personally like to put too many rats in my cage. Now that's just my personal preference and opinion when it comes to keeping a big double metal cage. Some people have 10, even 12 rats in this style of cage, and that's fine. It works for them and it's still within the minimum in some countries. I just personally prefer to have less rats in that space. I look at my usually 4 or 5 rats, especially when they're all down the bottom of the cage, and I just can't imagine having double that amount in general and also in this cage. So preference definitely plays a part in that. I prefer to have less rats and then have more space. Doesn't mean that anyone else doing it is wrong, but I do find it very strange. The minimums for rats are pretty much the same as mice and hamsters when they're like double the size. Oh, this one. Keeping cats 100% inside is cruel. They need a catio or safe garden or to go out on a lead. I would disagree with this one, just because I think it very much depends on the cat's personalities. Some cats are going to be wanting to go outside, waiting at the back door. Others are going to have no interest, so very much depends on the individual cat. My cat Herbal, I tried very early on to get him to enjoy going out on walks and adventures and going places with us. And to start with, he kind of did, and then he just got too scared. So we just stick to going out in the garden on a lead. But he doesn't really ask to go out or show much interest until he's actually out there, and then sometimes he will hate it, so very much depends on the cat. There's also so many cats in rescues and needing homes that denying someone that lives in an apartment or just wants their cat to be indoors that's going to be a really good home to them is silly in my opinion. The RSPCA does this quite often, and some cats, they might have disabilities or extra needs or illnesses that means they can't go outside for whatever reason. I do think it is important to try with your cats to at least give them a catio or something, or let them look out the window or something, but I don't think every cat wants to or needs to. This person's unpopular opinion is that border collies shouldn't be pets. They're working dogs and need more than just walks. I somewhat agree with this, somewhat don't. Only because I do know people that have border collies and they are just pets and they don't really do anything else with them, any working jobs or sports, etc. And they are fine. I don't think people should go out and purposely get border collies expecting them to just be pets and not have to do anything else with them, because that's where the issues start to come in. So I don't think as many people should get border collies or working dogs if they have no intentions of doing dog sports or giving them a job to do, because that is quite risky. So I do know collies that are perfectly happy in their pet homes just going on walks, but they are kind of the outliers in the situation, so kind of agree, kind of don't. This one just says behavioural euthanasia. I'm not sure if they mean in dogs or rats. I'm not against this. I think some people think that I am. I definitely think it's a last resort when you've tried all your other available options and none of them have been working. I'm thinking specifically about this in dogs. I've seen a couple of dogs where they've tried a bunch of different trainers and behavioural medication and nothing is working, and that dog is still a risk to itself or people or other dogs, and they've tried everything, and instead of filling up a shelter with another dog that's going to be really hard to adopt out and making it go through that stressful experience, they have opted for behavioural euthanasia, which I think in the long term is a lot more kind than just making them suffer and be stressed and have this issue that is consuming their day-to-day life. So I'm not against it. I think it has to be in very specific circumstances and not just jumping to that as the first option. This person's opinion is it's dumb that people won't eat a dog but will eat a pig, for example. Yes, as someone that doesn't eat meat, I don't try to push my opinion on other people at all or too much. I think it takes a lot to switch that kind of thought process in your mind that dogs and pigs aren't really that different. A lot of people will be very against the Chinese dog meat trade and have outroar about that, and then go home and eat a bacon sandwich. So I definitely think looking at the bigger picture of the pigs are such intelligent animals. Personally not my favourite animal in the world, but trying to compare the two, they're not that dissimilar. It's just a cultural thing. To be mad about one thing and then go home and do another thing is a little bit hypocritical in my opinion, but I do understand it takes a lot to kind of switch that mindset and kind of get used to the fact that pigs and dogs and other animals that we do eat all deserve to live. Some rescue organisations are doing more harm than good. Yes, I think bigger scale or smaller scale, there are so many good rescues out there that are doing good, but I think it's so easy to get overwhelmed and your intentions are good when you start. But I've been to and volunteered when I was younger for a couple of rescues that they might have had the best intentions when they started, but the animals were coming in, and I'm trying to word this carefully, they were coming in and going into worse situations and worse conditions than what they were being rescued from, and they were just getting overwhelmed and taking in too many animals that the animals' welfare was starting to suffer. So I have seen it firsthand. I've been to a couple of rescues that have good intentions and the people have good intentions, but it's just kind of spiraled out of control and it's not good. A rat that is incapable of living safely with other rats after trying everything is better being put to sleep. Yes, I agree with this. There's people out there that seem to think I don't share this opinion. This is me setting the record straight. I do agree with this. I do think you have to try everything that is at least available to you before resorting to this option. So not jumping straight to doing that. There's some people that choose to do that and that's fine. Just don't push that on other people. But if you've tried neutering or the implant, you've tried them with different rats, female rats for example, and it's just not working, that rat is incredibly unhappy to have that much level of stress and aggression within them. That then is a medical issue that, just like anything else, can affect their quality of life, and it's not fair for them to live alone. So this might be an unpopular opinion to some people. To others it's quite a recognised fact that that rat's quality of life is not great. They are supposed to be social, so I do agree in that situation that that rat should then be put to sleep, and that is the most humane thing. Ooh, I don't think you can have an enclosure that's too big for mice if it's decorated properly. I agree for the most part. I do think there would be some situations like having a 20-foot enclosure for 3 mice that would be excessive, mostly because you wouldn't be able to find them or easily access them in an emergency, or if you needed to do health checks or something, they probably would just disappear. So I do think keeping it within a certain range would be ideal, but the whole having to keep mice in a 20-gallon or a 10-gallon tank is not true. That's quite outdated opinions spread by people that benefit from keeping their mice in smaller, less enriching enclosures. So having one that's 100 centimetres, 120 centimetres for a couple of mice is perfectly fine. I do think a 20-foot one though would be pushing it a bit. Oh, puppies and dogs under a year shouldn't be labelled as an assistance dog in training. It's unfair to them. I disagree and agree. As someone that is training an assistance dog, my trainer has said in the next couple of months I can start labelling her as an assistance dog in training if I want to. I don't think I'm quite at that stage yet. I just have an in-training thing just in general, and we're still just doing pet-friendly places, but I think it depends on the dog or the puppy. What I don't agree with is labelling a 10-week-old, 8-week-old puppy as an assistance dog in training, because they don't know anything, they don't know even how to sit maybe at that point. Just let them be puppies. I definitely think some people try to do it with their puppies way too young. The first like 6 months or so, definitely just focus on obedience, obviously taking them places to expose them to different things, but trying to label them as an assistance dog when they're like 12 weeks old is just ridiculous. So I think it definitely depends. Okay, rabbits shouldn't be housed outside in the UK. I disagree with this one. I do think the majority of the population that have rabbits outside in the UK are not doing it properly at all, but there are some really beautiful examples of outdoor enclosures that are going to be miles better than anything we can do indoors. I think only one of our bedrooms in this house, which is like the standard size of a 3-bed house in the UK, only one bedroom, and it's not either of these spare bedrooms, meets the minimum floor space requirement to have rabbits in the UK. So there's so many rabbits, again, in rescues. They need good homes, and we just don't have the space to house them all in the UK. So having a safe and secure setup outside, I do think is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're weather aware, cold, hot temperatures, and making sure that they're protected from that. Also protected from predators, not allowing them to just free roam willy-nilly outside where foxes and things can get them. Making sure you're using a very good thick mesh that's also dug underground as well. So there is a lot that goes into it, but I do think indoors or outdoors is perfectly fine. Ending this one on something that's quite a hot topic, especially in the UK at the moment, and that is, it's not the breed, it's the owner. I would say I 90% agree with this. Idiots are going to be idiots, and they own all sorts of dogs, especially people that get little dogs and forget to train them. The dogs that I've seen and had the most issues with have been doodles or sausage dogs, dachshunds. They are some of the dogs that I've had the most encounters with that haven't been great. However, and this might be my unpopular opinion coming out, I do think it is dangerous to be complacent about what your specific dog breed that you've chose to get has been bred for. There's so much talk when it comes to getting a border collie, for example, to be mindful when getting them and training them of what they were bred to do. Same with other breeds like German Shepherds, for example. I think it's dangerous to be complacent in what your dog breed was originally bred to do. And there's a big difference in being bitten and attacked by someone's nutty little dachshund that's nipping at your ankles and a big, much more powerful dog with a more powerful bite strength. When it comes to banning breeds, I don't think it's that helpful, because the only people it's going to affect are the people that have these dog breeds and do put the work and effort in, and they are really nice dogs. They're the people that are going to suffer. The idiots that just want them as a status dog that can protect them, they're just going to move on to the next big powerful breed, whether it's a Malinois or a German Shepherd. They're just going to pick the next status dog for them. So I don't think it's that helpful. I do think we need some sort of licensing maybe, or a lot more control over the people that are breeding these dogs, because clearly they don't really care where they're going to, because they're ending up with people that can't train them, can't handle them, and it's becoming an issue. So that's my thoughts on all of that. And it does scare me. I'm so scared of something happening to my dog, and generally we just cross the street anyway when it comes to other dogs, because we're not doing any on-lead greetings as part of our training anyway. But there are some dogs that I will make more of an effort to cross the street from. As an example, there is an Akita on our housing estate that's walked on a flexi lead, and that dog and owner could be perfectly fine. That could be the best well-trained dog ever, and they might be offended that I'm crossing the street, but them being offended for 5 minutes is better than my dog being dead forever. So me taking those precautions, it's not against the dog or the owner or the breed, it's just purely me trying to protect my own dog, because dog attacks are on the rise at the moment and it scares me. It can be any dog that does it, but a big powerful dog that has a big jaw can do a lot more damage. That's just a fact. Nothing against the breed itself, it's just the people that get them and don't put the training in that are ruining it for everyone else. But yeah, those are my opinions on some unpopular pet and animal care topics. I feel like they were pretty tame. You guys could have sent in a lot more heavier ones, but those are my opinions. I'm happy to have a discussion about any of this in the comments. Please just keep it nice if you're having a conversation with someone and your opinions don't really match. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!